left last time, continuity of a function. Okay. So now, most of the times I I told you that okay, that continuity, limits, and differentiability are three terms that are interrelated. So basically, because you can say that the function is continuous at a certain number a if and only if and only f is, or if the limit of f at a certain number exists. Okay, and also you can say that the function is continuous. Okay, whenever you say that f of a, say at a certain number a, exists, or if we can say that, where's my cursor? Hold on. What happened to the cursor? All right. Or another one is if f of a exists. So these are the two conditions for the exist for to say that a function is continuous at a certain number. And by definition, this is how we formally define the continuity of a function. And I will drop it from our module. Okay. What's going on with you? Definition 1.11, the function s the function f is said to be continuous at the number a if and only if the following conditions are satisfied. Number one, f of a exists. Number two, the limit of f of x and as x approaches a exists. And number three, the limit of f of x as x approaches a is equal to f of a. So let us try this particular example. Say we wish to find whether this g of x determine whether g of x defined by hold is continuous at x equals say 2. Okay. Following the definition, number one, part one, you have to show that f of a exists. Okay. Then, no, it's not f of a, it's g of a. Sorry. So we have to show that g of a, or g of 2, in this case, g of 2 exists. And then between these two equations, so which are we going to, which is shall be used? 2 plus x if x is less than 2, and 6 minus x if x is greater than or equal to 2. If x is 2, then you have g of 2 is equal to 6 minus 2. So that's 6 minus x, the equation to be used. So that's 6 minus 2, and that is equal to 4. So this is our g of 2, and this exists. Okay? So g of 2 exists. Number part 2, you have to show that the limit of g of x as x approaches 2 exists. And how are we going to show that? Letter A, we have to show that the limit of g of x as x approaches 2 from the right will exist. And if you are coming from the right, so you use 6 minus x. Okay? And this will lead you to 6 minus 2, and that is equal to 4. Okay? This is equal to 4. This is 4. Then you go on. Because according to the definition, if one of these three conditions is failed to satisfy, is failed to hold at x equals a, then the function is said to be discontinuous. Okay, and it's still 4, 4, you go on. Letter B. We have to show that the limit of g of x as x approaches 2 from the left will exist. So you have limit as x approaches 2 from the left. If you are coming from the left, meaning we're going to use 2 plus x. And this is equal to 2 plus 2 equals 4. And then you can now say that the limit of g of x as x approaches 2 exists and is equal to 4. Okay, and part 3, you just only have to interpret what you have done in part 1 and part 2. So you can just say that the limit of g of x as x approaches 2 is equal to g of 2 and it's equal to 4. Okay, and therefore we can now say that g of x g of x is continuous at x equals 2. Okay, so that's how you do it. First, you have to show that the function exists at a certain number a. Number 2, you have to show that the limit of the function at a certain number will also exist, and that can be done by getting the right-hand side and the left-hand side limit. And number 3, you have to show that the limit of that function at a certain number is equal to the value of the function at that particular number. Okay. Then one more. You remember this curve? Join me on frame number 2. I'm on frame number 2. Okay. So this is our previous example. Yun na lang yun. Okay. So this is your f of x. Let me just drop it from our module. Right. Number 2. So determine the continuity of this function. So on our previous example, we have shown that this function is what? At what value of x will the limit of this function will not exist?
-3 po.
At x equals -3. So it follows that, so solve natin. At x equals -3. Number 1, part 1, f of -3. So you have f of -3. So ito yung gagamitin nyo, square root of 9 minus -3 square. And this is equal to 0. So this exists. So you go on. Part 2. So you determine whether the limit of f of x as x approaches -3 exists. So again, from our previous solution, it shows that the limit of f of x as x approaches -3 from the right. If you're coming from the right, so we use the square root of 9 minus x squared, and this will give you the square root of 9 minus -3 squared, and that is equal to 0. So this exists. So you go on. Letter B, the limit as x approaches -3 from the left. If you're coming from the left, so you use x plus 5. Right? And that will give you -3 plus 5, and this is equal to 2. And this exists, this also exists, but they are not equal. So therefore, you may stop here. Okay? So you can now say that the limit of f of x as x approaches -3 does not exist, and it follows that f of x is discontinuous at x equals -3. All right, you see that? So you just continue working on at x equals 3. Okay, so we can say that f of 3 equals, when when x is equal to 3, you use square root of 9 minus x squared. So that's square root of 9 minus 3 squared, and this gives you 0. And from our previous solution, refer to O sige, solve na lang natin. We have to show that the limit of f of x as x approaches 3 from the right, okay, equals limit of as x approaches 3 from the right. If you're coming from the right, you use square root of 9 minus x squared. I hope everything is clear, huh? On setting the function. So this is a square root of, or like, can I just write 0 here? Okay lang ba? And then letter B, limit as x approaches 3 from the left. So you have limit as x approaches 3 from the left, and then you're going to use 3 minus x. And this will give you 3 minus 0, 3 minus 3, sorry, and that is equal to 0. Okay? And then on frame number 3, join me on frame number 3 as I give the conclusion. So you can now say the limit of f of x as x approaches 3 is equal to f of 3, and that is equal to 0. So therefore, f of x is continuous at x equals 3. Okay? So that ends the chapter 1. Any question, clarification? Let us try this. Hold on. Let me see. Ito. Determine whether f of x, can I ask someone to write the solution on the board? Number 3. Okay. Determine whether f of x is continuous at x equals 2. Okay. Can I ask someone? Those who can? Madali ba magsulat using your is continuous at x equals 2. All right. Can I see someone writing? You can write here. Go on. Part 1, f of 2. Anyone? Hello? Can you hear me? Huwag na mahiya. Go lang. You only have to satisfy this condition. Where is that? Wala na kasi. Balik ako ha. Hold on. If these are not satisfied, then you say it's discontinuous. Oh, hold on, sorry. Can I ask someone? You can use this one if you cannot write. You can use this one to type. Ito. You see this? Okay, so you only need to satisfy this condition. Anyone? Hello? Is Mr. Panganiban here?
Yes, sir. I'll try
Can
na
you
lang
do it?
po.
Okay, can you do it for us?
Yes po.
Okay, go. Or you can do it na lang sa sa paper, send it on the messenger, and then i-drop ko na lang dito.
Sige po, sir.
Okay, kung mas madali on your part to write it on a piece of paper, and then ika-copy ko na lang dito. Or anyone, baka some of you has the technology of writing here easily. Yung may pen na ganito. Or may stylus. If you're using a notebook, tablet na may stylus, you can easily write here. If you are with us on the Jamboard, Any comment while Mr. Pangiban is writing his solution? Or anyone who want to send their solution on the on the messenger, okay lang. Ako na lang ang magkakapit dito. What happened? Any comment? What did you notice?
Sir, paano po pa ganun, sir? Pag undefined po.
O, di stop ka na. Then you say it's discontinuous at x equals 2. Ganun lang kasimple yun. If at the beginning,
Apo.
di ba? Maybe that's
Opo.
why maybe that's why you're all taking it I mean taking it time to think kasi nga naman sige ako na lang. 1 nung kinukuha natin f of 2 and then you say it's so you notice that when x is equal to 2 you use 1 over x minus 2. If x is not equal to 2 you use 3. So ang graph niyan kasi is ganito. Hold on. Can I just do it here? Yeah, I think maliit lang naman siya. So this is your y, this is 2. Okay? When when x is 2, you use 1 over x minus 2. However, when f of 2 is 1 over 2 minus 2, and that is 1 over 0, and that is undefined. Does this exist? Yes, no? It does not.
No.
O, di conclusion na agad kayo. Therefore, f of x is discontinuous at x equals 2. And how we can that be discontinuous? 1, 2, 3. Ito siya. So, ito yung line. This is the line y equals 3. Okay? However, we only use that line whenever x is not equal to 2. Meaning, this is 2, which means you need to make an open hole here. Let me just erase that part. You're just going to make an open hole here. All right, and you're done. Sir, where is that 1 over x minus 2? That 1 over x minus 2 is an asymptote. In this case, it's a discontinuity. In this case, it's a point discontinuity. Okay? Because when x equals 2, it's undefined. So, wala kayong ipa-plot dito. Kaya ito ay discontinuous siya doon. Okay? Where's my eraser? Right. So, yun na yun. Okay? So, f of x is discontinuous at x equals 2. Tanong, although we have shown that the function f of x is discontinuous at x equals 2. Tanong, does the limit of f of x as x approaches 2 exist? Yes or no?
No po.
Yes, no?
No po.
Anyone? Other answer? No? You sure? Come on, you look at the curve. You look at the curve. Yeah, you look at the given. F of 2
Yes pala po.
Yes po, sir.
See, f of 2 does not exist, but the limit of f of x as x approaches 2 will exist because we're going to get the left-hand side and the right-hand side. Okay? As x approaches 2 from the left. If we're coming from the right, which of these two are we going to use? If you're coming from the right.
Yung X. Yung 3 po.
Yung 3 po. So what is the limit of 3 as x approaches 2 from the right? It's 3. If we're coming from the left, which of these two are we going to use?
3 din.
3 din po.
3 din po. So that's equal to 3. So therefore, they are equal. They will exist. But however, hindi na siya nag-exist dito. Therefore, we can say that the function is discontinuous. You get my point? You're still with me?
Yes po.
Okay. Thank you. One more. This time kayo naman to. May solution na to. Hold on. I'm getting exercises from our module on page 44. Exercise 1.5. Let me see. Ito. Done. Number 4. Determine whether the function f is continuous at x equals 1. Or, you write your solution here. Those who want to do it here, or those who want to write on the piece of paper, kindly send it in our messenger. Then ako na lang yung magda-drop ulit dito. Pero you can also drop it here. Diba gagawin nyo sa ano, susulat nyo sa inyong papel, isasend nyo sa messenger nyo, i-snip nyo. Pagka-snip nyo, i-control V nyo lang dyan, magpi-paste na yun. That's what I'm doing. I'm using a snipping tool, and then I will just snip an item, and then control V on the Jamboard, and it's there. I'm waiting for your answer, ha? And then after this, I am officially, after this, I'm officially telling you to start answering your problem set, and you may start uploading your answer on our Google Classroom. Nahirap ba magsulat dito? I think so.
Medyo po, sir.
Yeah, sorry. Actually, ito lang yung way para hindi siya delayed on your screen. Siguro those who are viewing via Google Meet, medyo delayed pa rin ng konti. Does anyone send in? Hold on, wait, where is it? Thank you for this one, Justin. Hold on, let me see. Right? Okay. So it's clear that the function is continuous at x equals 1. Let me just copy it. Thank you. And this one is courtesy of Justin. And let's paste it here. Iusin lang natin, ha. Then this is part 1. Tama ba? Ito yung part 2. Oops. Part 2. And then this one is part 3. Which one is part 3? Ito nga. Okay, so therefore, the function g of x is continuous at x equals 1. And then you will notice that from part 1, part 2, diba, lahat sila ay 1. So that clearly says that the function g is continuous at x equals 1. Okay? Okay na yan? So again, after this lesson, after this session, you may start working on your problem set number 1, and that's the first assessment task, or that's the first assignment that I assigned to you.
Sir, may due date po ba yun, sir?
Ha?
May deadline po.
What did I tell you during our orientation? I usually do not give deadline, but for the sake of discussion, okay, di ba? Walang deadline, pero if you want to ask something, so I cannot discuss it on the Google Meet, if some of you still haven't submitted his or her problem set. So kung there are items that you want me to discuss on the Google Meet, and then you ask your classmates to submit their problem set immediately so that we can discuss it on the Google Meet before the examination. Then anytime soon, 2 weeks from now or by next week, we will have your first quiz. Question pa? Where to write it on a white coupon band? It's ano naman, hindi naman siya required na sa white coupon band. It's just an encouragement for you to write it on a white paper. Wala nang mga margin, basta write legibly. If you can do it in engineering lettering, then please do so. And then if you can save it in PDF format, please do so. Okay, wala namang, pero kung sir hindi po kaya mag-PDF, picture na lang, okay lang din. Ako na lang ang mag-a-adjust na mag-check. Okay? No more question? And please do submit your problem set the earliest possible time. Now, it will help you, it will help me a lot to lessen my work. Kasi araw-araw akong, hindi pala araw-araw, gabi-gabi na ako mag-check. Once na may problem set na, then gabi-gabi na ako mag-check. And please help me lessen and you know, make my task a lot easier. Thank you. No more question? Okay. So if there's none, then let's proceed with the next chapter of your module. And let's talk about derivatives now. So again, I keep on mentioning that the limit existence theorem, the continuity of a function, and the differentiability of a function, these three cannot be separated, you know, because they are, you know, they are related to one another. And you say that we cannot differentiate the function if the limit of that function do not exist at a certain number, and therefore it will not be continuous on that particular number. Okay, so let's talk about derivatives, and this time we're going to formally define the process of differentiation as a slope. Derivatives as a slope of a line. Okay. Recall the definition of the slope. The slope means what? In analytic geometry, this means inclination, right? And in trigonometry, this is something to do with tangent y over x or tangent theta. No. So that's the inclination or the steepness of a line. Okay. So let us consider the function y equals f of x. Allow me to draw it. Hold on. Okay. So this is the function y equals f of x. Just simply f of x. And from here, I will draw 2 points. Say point P. I hope you're seeing my points. And this is point Q. Oops, hold on. Just write it here. That's point Q. And I will draw secant line. A secant line is a line passing through 2 points on the curve, passing through point P and Q. So I will draw secant line passing through point P and Q. Okay, and then I will call this line L. And then you know that the distance from, oops, hold on, I was thrown outside the Google Jamboard. And you know that the distance from this point, perpendicular distance of point P to the y-axis, you call it x. Okay, so that's why point P has coordinate x, f of x, or xy. But what is y? F of x. And point P is located at the point x, f of x. All right. Now, so the directed distance of point Q to point P, okay, so I call it change in x or change in x or delta x, yeah, and therefore the perpendicular distance of point Q to the y-axis is how long? How far is point Q to the y-axis? X plus delta x. Now, if point Q is x plus delta x away from the y-axis. So where is point Q? Or what is the coordinate of point Q? That is x plus delta x, f of x plus delta x. Okay, so you now have point Q, x plus delta x, f of x plus delta x. Okay, and then we now get the equation of the slope. The slope of line L. And you recall that the slope is delta y over delta x, or the change in y over the change in x, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay? And it follows that based on the position of P and Q, we can say that your y2 is f of x plus delta x minus f of x all over x plus delta x minus x. And this can be simplified as f of x plus delta x minus f of x all over delta x. And that is the slope of line L. Okay. Now, we will make an experiment here. I will move line L through point P. Okay, which means I will make point P fixed, and then I will move line L. I-move ko siya to the left. Okay, but I will be fixing point P. So there will come to a point that your line L is somewhere here. Okay, so this is now your new point Q, whose slope is still written of this form. Ito pa rin yung kanyang slope. And then there will come to a point that your line L is here. And there will come to a point that your line L will be tangent to this curve, okay, to f of x at point P. And this is what you call the tangent line, okay? The tangent line is a line passing through exactly one point on the curve, okay? So now, if we want to get the slope of the tangent line, so that's what we need to do. We will be looking for the slope of the tangent line. Okay, next. Come to think of it, you try to analyze. As point Q gets closer and closer to P, what do you think happens to your delta x?
Approaches 0 po.
Okay, it approaches 0, it gets decreasing, and it approaches 0. Okay, so the time the point Q coincide point P, your delta x is equal to 0, and it will now become a tangent line. Now, if we want to get the equation of the slope of the tangent line, so we say that as point Q gets nearer and nearer and nearer to point P, your delta x gets smaller and smaller, and it approaches 0 to the point that your delta x, say for example, 0.000000000001. But still, may difference pa si y2 at saka si y1, si x2 at saka si x1. So that's why there's still delta x, but very, very small. Now, if we want to get the slope of the tangent line, and then we just copy this slope minus f of x, right, all over delta x. Now, what will happen, sir? Diba kapag if this line is already tangent to this curve, y equals f of x, di po ba si point Q coincide point P, and therefore delta x is now equal to 0? And that cannot happen. Di po ba, sir? Yeah, it's true. Okay? It's true that when line L becomes a tangent line, then point Q and point P coincide. Now, to get the approximate, okay, to get the approximate slope of the tangent line, you just use the definition and the theorems of limit. Now, so you use limit, hold on, limit of f of x plus delta x minus f of x all over delta x as delta x approaches 0. And also, this slope defines the first derivative of the function f of x. So this is how you draw the slope of the line tangent to this curve, and this is the definition of the derivative of f of x. Okay, so in symbol, so this is equal to dy dx or f prime of x. If you want to use, ito yung notation na ginagamit. If you want to use the Leibniz notation, you use dy dx or df dx. If you want to use the Newton's notation, you use y prime or f prime of x. Okay, so this is the definition of the slope of the tangent line and the definition of the derivative of f of x. Okay, join me on frame number 5. Sample number 1. Find slope of a line tangent to the curve. Allow me to write the curve. Tangent to the curve, let me see. Y equals, or f of x. F of x equals 2x squared plus 2x plus 1. Oh, hindi. I'll make it a little simpler. Gawin ko na lang muna para ma-visualize nyo. Okay, I'll make it, oh my, I'll make it x squared minus 2 muna. Okay? You recall that's a parabola that opens up, right? It's a parabola that opens up with vertex up. Where can you see the vertex of this parabola?
0, -2 po.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is the parabola x squared minus 2. Question: how many line tangent to that curve? How many tangent line that you can draw out of this curve? How many tangent line? How many line tangent to that curve that you can draw? 1, 2, 3. Ulit ha, a tangent line is a line that will pass through the given curve. How many? One. You look at the curve and then you think. Any input? Well, a question. How many points are there on x squared minus 2? Sir, wala naman tayong kinukuhang points. I mean, you just look at the curve. The number of points on that particular curve is determined by the set of the domain. Kung ilan ang domain mo, the cardinality of your domain determines the number of points of that locus. Ang tawag dyan is locus of points. So, ilan? How many? Is there 1, 2, 3, or sobrang dami? Infinitely many.
Infinitely many po.
Yeah. So that's infinitely many. Now, if there are infinitely many points here and a tangent line is touching the curve at a specific point, ibalik natin yung question. How many tangent line that you can draw out of this curve?
Isa po.
Ganun din po.
Ganun din po, which means there is infinitely many tangent line. For each point, you can affix one tangent line. Since that parabola x squared minus 2 has many points, then you can draw infinitely many tangent line. So this is the horizontal tangent whose slope is 0. All right? You can, okay? And then dito pa sa taas. So there are infinitely many line tangent to that curve. Okay? And then we will be looking for its slope. Okay? By definition, you can say that the slope of the tangent line is equal to the limit approach of the function f of x plus delta x minus f of x all over delta x as delta x approaches 0. Right? So you now have limit. Then x is to be replaced by x plus delta x. X plus delta x square minus 2 minus the function itself. X squared minus 2 all over delta x. All right. And then delta x approaching 0. Then equals, we just simplify. Okay. Limit as delta x approaches 0. We just simplify the numerator because our goal is to eliminate this denominator. So you have x squared, you just expand, plus 2x delta x plus delta x squared. Then you copy minus 2. And then you introduce this minus sign each term inside. And that will give you negative x squared plus 2. And then you can combine things that can be added. X squared, negative 2 plus 2. What you notice is that on the numerator, all the terms left on the numerator contains delta x. So you factor it out. Okay? So that's 2x plus delta x. And then you cancel this out. What is left? You're only left with limit of 2x plus delta x. Then as delta x approaches 0. And then you can now replace x or delta x by 0. So this is 2x plus 0, and that is 2x. And this is the slope of the tangent line. Okay. Now, let's be more specific. Let's draw a line tangent to the curve at x equals negative 1. So, negative 1. Ito siya. Okay. So, this is the tangent. Okay na yan. So, that's the tangent line that we want to draw. Okay. So, that means at x equals negative 1. Therefore, you can say that the slope of the tangent line is, it should be negative since that leans to the left. 2 times negative 1, and that is negative 2. Okay, next, if you want to get the equation of the tangent line. So you recall the point slope form of a line, y minus y1 is the slope times x minus x1. You're still with me? Hello? I hope you're still with me. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So you recall this formula, the point slope form of a line, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 from our analytic geometry course. So now, we already have our slope m, but we don't have a point. At x equals negative 1, then what would be the y? So y equals negative 1 squared minus 2. And that is negative 1. So the point that we are looking for is negative 1, negative 1. Okay? And then you can now draw the equation of the tangent line. Y minus y1 minus negative 1 equals the slope of the tangent line, negative 2 times x minus x sub 1. And then simplifying, you have y plus 1 equals negative 2x. This will become positive 1 multiplied by negative 2 will become minus 2. And then I will just throw this on the other side to make the leading term positive and x. So that's 2x, then plus y. Minus 2 will be thrown on the left side. It will become plus 2, and then it will become plus 3 equals 0. And what is this? The equation of the tangent line. Okay, so 2x, plus y, plus 3 equals 0. Question. Any comment? Amar? And there will be another line. There will be another line that you can draw out of that point perpendicular to the tangent line. And we call it the normal line. So ito na yung ating normal line. And then you join on pair number 6 as we formally define what is a normal line. So normal line is a line perpendicular to the tangent line. And then when you say the two lines are perpendicular, how do you describe their slopes?
Negative reciprocal po.
Okay, so that's negative reciprocal. Meaning, the slope of the normal line is equal to -1 over the slope of the tangent line. Or the slope of the tangent line is equal to negative reciprocal of the slope of the normal line. So that's the relationship between the normal line and the tangent line. And you recall now, say we wish to look for the equation of the normal line. You know that the slope of the tangent line at x equals -1 is -2. Okay? So that's -1, -1. It follows that the equation of the normal line or the slope of the normal line is, what is the negative reciprocal of -2?
1/2.
1/2. And then you just write the equation of the normal line. So that's y minus y1. Actually, you're just going to copy this part. I will go back to frame number 5. And then you will just copy this part. Okay? Yeah. And we will just replace the NPL. This -2, palitan nyo lang siya ng 1/2. And you're done. So this is y plus 1 equals 1/2 times x plus 1. And then you just cross multiply. 2 times y is 2y. 2 times 1 is 2. And then 1, each term inside. So that will become x plus 1. And then ito naman yung itatapon natin sa kanan. So you have x minus 2y. Then plus 2 thrown on the right side will become -1. Plus 1 will become -1 is 0. And this is the equation of the normal line. Okay, one more. See? Find equation of the line, tangent, and normal to the curve let me see, f of x, oops, equals, sige, okay lang, 2 over x plus 1 at x equals -2. Find the equation, find the equation. Find the equation of the line, tangent, and normal to the curve. F of x equals 2 over x plus 1 at x equals -2. Okay? We first look for the slope of the tangent line, MTL. Limit as x approaches as delta x approaches 0. Now, if this is fraction that over delta x, you can just write it in front. 1 over delta x times 2 all over, okay? So you have x, you replace it by x plus delta x, then plus 1. Minus the the function itself. 2 over x plus 1. Sir, nasan po yung over delta x? It's there, in front. 1 over delta x. Okay? And then can you continue? What are you going to do next?
Pagsasamahin po.
Okay, sige lang. So we will combine these two. So you will have limit as delta x approaches 0, 1 over delta x, and then x plus delta x plus 1, then times x plus 1. And then you just cross multiply. 2 times x plus 1, 2x plus 2, minus 2 times x plus delta x plus 1. So minus 2x minus 2 delta x minus 2. All right, and then you can now combine 2x, positive 2, negative 2x, negative 2. And then what is left? Limit as delta x approaches 0, 1 over delta x. On the numerator, you only have negative 2 delta x. Yeah, all over x plus delta x plus 1 times x plus 1. Okay? And then, yeah, you can now cancel this delta x. Then eventually, what is left is limit as delta x approaches 0, negative 2 on the numerator, then you only have x plus delta x plus 1 times x plus 1. Then after this line, you are now ready to replace delta x by 0. So that will lead you to negative 2 all over x plus 0 plus 1 is x plus 1 times x plus 1. And eventually, the slope of the tangent line is negative 2 all over x plus 1 square. That is the slope of the tangent line. Then, the slope of the normal line is equal to what? At x equals negative 2 pala, sorry. All right. Join me in frame number 7. At x equals negative 2. What is the slope? Negative 2 all over negative 2 plus 1 square. And that is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 1 square is negative 1. Square is positive 1. Negative 2 over positive 1 is still negative 2. You're still with me?
Opo.
Alright. Dali, inaantok na tuloy ako. Hold on. Okay. So, can you now draw the equation of the tangent line? Can I ask someone? You can do it here. You can use this one. The point is at x equals negative 2. O kuhanin nyo muna yun. So, ano yung point na kailangan natin? Oh, wait. Holy moly. So, the slope is negative 2. And the point is negative 2. Then what is y? That's 2 over x plus 1. Y is 2 over x plus 1. What is y? Ba't ba nagkakaparehas? That is negative 2 pa rin. Sorry for my example ha, nagkaparehas siya. Kanina negative 1, negative 1. Ngayon negative 2, negative 2. Tama ba? Yeah? Hello? Hello? You still there?
Yes po.
Okay, huwag niyo kong iiwan ha. Right? Can I ask someone to write the equation of the tangent line and the girls to write the equation of the normal line? The boys will be writing the equation of the tangent line and the girls will be writing the equation of the normal line. You can do it here using this using this tool, the text box tool. So i-click nyo lang to, then itap nyo dito, then pwede na kayo magsulat. If you're using your cell phone, hanapin nyo lang to dito. I don't know how it look like on the on the mobile phone. And then itap nyo ulit dito, then you can now type in. Anong gagamitin natin? So, point -2, -2, and the slope is still -2. Pare-parehas. Anyway, so that is y minus y1 equals MTL equals times x minus x1. Come on, delete. Anyone can write. Sobrang tapang ko na at the moment. Kasi yung antok nilalabanan ko na din eh. Go lang, sino yan? Go lang.
Sir, mahirap po eh.
Mahirap pa. you can use this one. Sa nasa laptop. You can use this one. X and Y lang naman yan. Walang powers. Line lang siya. Kaya madali siya pag text box. Ano? Mahirap talaga. You can see someone is writing kasi nakikita niyo yung icon niya.
Sir, paano po napapalitan yung font color?
Yung font color dito sa, tama to. Pag kinlik ko to, lalabas tong A sa taas. Text color. Then click mo lang to.
Sige po.
The girls, hello girls, you can do it here. But first, write the slope of the, among the girls, what is the slope of the normal line? Sino yung nagsusulat? Mr. Panganiban, you're writing? You go on, continue. I'm talking to the girls. What is the slope of the normal line? Can I hear the voice of one of the girls? If the slope of the tangent line at point -2, -2 is -2, what is the slope of the normal line at -2, -2?
1/2 po.
Okay. Ba't pa, kanina 1/2 din tayo, no? Di ba? Sorry. Ba't pa parehas yun? And then, can I ask someone from among the girls to do the same? You write it here. Mahirap ba talaga? Ito. Sabagay, nasa laptop kasi ako. Kaya madali. I understand. Y minus, I'll just copy the one. -2 equals, and the slope, you can just replace M. What is that, Ronald? M. Palitan mo na siya ng -2. Ito ay 1/2. Okay? Times X minus -2. Then it will become y plus 2 equals 1/2 times x plus 2. Then yung 2 i-multiply natin sa 2 times y plus 2 equals 1 na lang yung matitira sa taas, so then x plus 2. Then 2y plus 4 equals x plus 2. Then, ang itatapon ko sa kaliwa is yung 2y plus 4. So, you have x minus 2y. And then, x minus 2y. Then, plus 4. Then, plus 2 will become minus 4. Alin bang tinatapon ko? Itong 2y plus 4. Ito yung itinatapon ko ha. Yung 2y plus 4, itatapon ko sa kanan. So, magiging minus 4 plus 2. So, minus 2 equals 0. Right? Let me see. So that's y plus 2. So that's negative 2x plus 2. All right. So y equals negative 2x. This is minus 4. Yeah. When this is thrown. Okay. So that's y equals negative 2x minus 6. And this is the equation of the tangent line. Thank you. And this is the equation of the normal line. Okay. Okay. Enough for that. Kasi we will be discussing that on the application after midterm. Yeah. Applications of derivatives of algebraic function. But for now, we say that, the formal definition of the derivative of a function has something to do with the slope of the tangent line. Then you can use that definition to find the derivative. Hold on, wait lang. Find the derivative of the following functions by using the definition. Number 1. Hindi ko na kayo bibigyan ng simple ha, kasi, sige, okay lang. Y equals x cubed minus 2x plus 1. So, dy dx or y prime equals the limit as delta x approaches 0. I know that this is not new to you. Delta x sa ilalim. Then, you just replace x by x plus delta x. Okay. Then plus 1. Then minus itself, x cubed minus 2x plus 1. Then, you just simplify this part. Kasya kaya? Y prime equals limit as delta x approaches 0. And then you expand this. X plus delta x cube. Cube of the first. So that's x cube. Plus thrice the product of the first and the second. Plus thrice the product of the square of the first and the second. Plus thrice the product of the first and the square of the second. Plus cube of the second. That's the expanded version of x plus delta x cube. One more. That's cube of, this is the first, this is the second term. Cube of the first plus thrice the product of the square of the first and the second plus thrice the product of the first and the square of the second plus cube of the second. Then you just introduce this each term inside. So minus 2x minus 2 delta x. All right. Minus 2x minus 2 delta x plus 1. And then you introduce that minus sign each term inside. Minus x cubed plus 2x minus 1. And then allow me to copy this first. And then please join me on the next frame. Okay, punta ako sa frame number 8. I'll paste it here. All right. And then we can combine. Allow me to enlarge. And then let me combine things that need to be combined. X cubed, negative x cubed. Positive 1, negative 1. 2x, negative 2x. What else? No more? And as you can notice, what is left contains delta x so equals limit. Do not remove this annotation. And you can observe that what is left on the numerator all contains delta x. And you can factor it out. Times 3x squared plus 3x delta x plus delta x squared, right? Then minus 2. 3x squared delta x. So delta x has been thrown outside. So 3x squared na lang. Then one of the delta x here is thrown outside. So that's 3x delta x. And one of the delta x here is also thrown outside. So that's delta x squared. And then dito, so magiging minus 2 na lang. And then you can now drop this up. And then eventually, you can now replace delta x by 0. So you have 3x squared plus 3x times 0 plus 0 squared minus 2. And therefore, I can now say that y prime equals 3x squared, yeah, 3x squared minus 2. Okay, number 2. F of x equals 2 over square root of x plus 1. So, again, following the formula, f prime of x equals, this is fraction. Again, if that is fraction, you can just write 1 over delta x in front. So 1 over delta x. Okay. Then times, you replace x by x plus delta x. 2 all over the square root of x plus delta x plus 1. Then minus the function itself, the square root of x plus 1. And, right. Sir, nasan yung over delta x? It's here, in front. Just to know, just to make it a little pleasing on our eyes. So yeah, di ba? It's just like that. So to avoid that complex fraction, I just write it in front. So the goal naman, our goal is to eliminate this delta x, is to cancel it out. Yeah. So then what comes next? You combine the two fractions. You just write everything here. So you now have the square root of x plus delta x plus 1, then times the square root of x plus 1. And then you just multiply 2 the square root of x plus 1 minus 2 the square root of x plus delta x plus 1. Then what comes next? What do you think are we going to do? If you want to make it a little simpler, itong 2 na to, pwede nyong itapon din sa labas. So you make this 2 over. 2 over delta x. So wala nang 2 dun sa loob. Because what you need to do next is to multiply this by the function contains square roots. Then what are we going to do? Sir, rationalize po because it contains square root. So how do we rationalize? Sir, since the numerator contains 2 terms, then we just multiply it by the conjugate of both the numerator and denominator. You multiply both the numerator and denominator by the conjugate of the numerator, sorry, because it contains square root. All over the same thing, the square root of x plus 1 plus the square root of x plus delta x plus 1. Now, kung may 2 dito, what will be the conjugate? What will be the multiplier? Still, maglalagay ka
Ganun
dito.
din po.
Okay.
Maglalagay din po.
Okay. And then you just multiply this, and what happened? Where will I write it? I'll try to write it here. F prime of x. I-green ko na lang ha. F prime of x equals, and then limit as delta x approaches 0. Okay. Then 2 over delta x. And then I will just write first the denominator. Okay. So the denominator would have been the product of this, square root of x plus delta x plus 1 times the square root of x plus 1, then times ito, square root of x plus 1 plus the square root of x plus delta x plus 1. close. And then on the numerator, allow me to cut it first before I write on the numerator. Okay. And then on the numerator, you just simplify this. This exhibit the product. The form x minus y times x plus y. That's product of the first and the first, the last and the last. So you have x plus 1 minus x plus delta x plus 1. And then you can just simplify. All right. Enlarge natin ng konti. Then the numerator would have been equal to, so this is equal to x plus 1. Sige lang, okay lang. X plus 1, then minus x minus delta x minus 1. And then you combine things. So this will become 0. And what is left is negative delta x. And then, yun, pwede na nating makancel yun. Alright? Then join me on the next frame. Then what is left on the numerator? Negative. Negative 1. Then I will just write it negative 2 kasi tatanggalin ko to. Okay? How will I? Tatanggalin ko yan. So wala na to dito kasi na-cancel na natin yung delta x. So yung negative 2 is already there. And then just allow me to cover this one. Hindi ko na-get. Hold on. Right. Then let me write it again. This is plus 1. Right, ito na siya. Yeah? Then we can now replace delta x by 0. So you now have negative, ilalim muna tayo mag-start. Square root of x plus 0 plus 1. Then the square root of x plus 1. Then times the square root of x plus 1 plus the square root of x plus 0 plus 1. Close. And then on the numerator, it's negative 2. Okay, and then we continue simplifying. Negative 2 all over. When these two are multiplied, so you only have x plus 1. Because the square, this will become square root of x plus 1. Square root of x plus 1 times square root of x plus 1 is x plus 1. And then this is square root of x plus 1. When combined, when these two are combined, that leads you to 2 square root of x plus 1. So you have 2 square root of x plus 1. And then you can now drop this up, yung negative 2. So eventually, that will lead us to negative 1 all over x plus 1 square root of x plus 1 or negative 1 over x plus 1 raised to 3 halves. Right, and that is your f prime of x. One more. What number are we? Number 3. F of x. I'm not give. Sige. Equals x plus 2 all over 3x plus 1. Hindi ko na kayo bibigyan ng mga simpleng ano ha. I mean, alam ko naman na alam niyo na to. Okay. We have f prime of x equals limit. Again, that's if function. So you can just write 1 over delta x here. Delta x approaches 0. And then, hold on na. And then, just what we are doing, you replace x by delta x plus 2 all over 3 times x plus delta x plus 1. Then minus itself, x plus 2 all over 3x plus 1. Close. And then, again, our goal is to eliminate this delta x. You have limit as delta x approaches 0, 1 over delta x. Then we combine the 2. So that's 3x plus delta x plus 1 times, or we can just introduce the 3 each time inside. 3x plus 3 delta x plus 1 times 3x plus 1. And then you cross multiply. Then you have x plus delta x plus 2 times 3x plus 1 minus x plus 2. Oh my. Hindi na kasha. Allow me to pull it there. Times 3x plus 3 delta x plus 1. 3x plus 3 delta x plus 1. Okay? And then, I will change my frame kasi hindi siya kasya doon. I'm on frame number 10. We have times 3x plus 3 delta x plus 1. Then, you now have limit as delta x approaches 0, 1 over delta x, then all over, copy the same denominator, 3x plus delta x plus 1, 3x. Sabihin niyo agad sa akin na kapag may error para mas madaling i-resolve. Okay? And then on the numerator, you just, do the FOIL method, distributive property. X times 3x is 3x squared. Then x times 1 is x plus 3x delta x plus delta x plus 6x plus 2. Check nyo nga. 3x squared plus x and then 3x delta x plus delta x plus 6x plus 2 minus 3x squared minus 3x delta x, then minus x. Oh, no, hold on. All right, tama. 3x squared, 3x delta x, minus x. Then on 2, so 2 na tayo. Minus 6x, minus 6x delta x. Oh, no, minus 6 delta x lang. Then minus 2. Right? And then we combine things. 3x squared, negative 3x squared, 3x delta x, negative 3x delta x, positive x, negative 6x, positive 6x, positive 2, negative 2. And then there's only delta x and negative 6 delta x. All right? That is left on the numerator. So you now have limit as delta x approaches 0, 1 over delta x. On the numerator, we still have 3x plus 3 delta x plus 1 times 3x plus 1. And then you now have negative 5 delta x, negative 5 delta x. Then you can put this out. And then you are now ready to replace delta x by 0. So negative 5 all over 3x plus 0 plus 1 times 3x plus 1. And this leads us to negative 5 f prime of x is negative 5 all over 3x plus 1 squared. Right? Kasi nga. Oh, yeah. It's negative 5 over 3x plus 1 squared. Okay? Question, clarification. One more. Before we proceed with the formulas. Number 4. Say f of x equals. Hold on. Cube root of x plus 1. Nalagyan ko pa ng over x. Huwag na. Or over x. Haba na yan. Huwag na lang. O define nyo na lang to. So you have limit as delta x approaches 0, then cube root of x plus delta x plus 1 minus cube root of x plus 1 all over delta x. Okay. So I did not write over delta x here ha, kasi hindi naman siya fraction. Pero pwede nyo gawin yun para mas madali kayo. Okay? And then, this includes cube root. Earlier, on our previous example, it contains square root. So you just multiply it by the conjugate. Okay? Problem number 2 yun. And then for problem number 4, it includes cube root. What would be our multiplier? Our goal is to have limit delta x approaches 0. So dito should be delta x alone. And no. I should not be writing it here. Why? Dito sa ilalim should be delta x alone. And then on the numerator, it should be x plus delta x plus 1 minus x plus 1. So that later on, we can remove this delta x. Because when this is simplified, limit as delta x approaches 0. So delta x, when this is simplified, what happened? X plus delta x plus 1 minus x minus 1. So we can cancel this out. No, this will become 0. And then this can be canceled out. The problem is, what will be our multiplier? Here. So yan yung goal natin. And then you think of a way such that you think of something here, when multiplied, will remove the cube root. We are rationalizing the numerator. Rationalizing means avoiding the radical form. Can you still hear me? You're still with me?
Yes.
Yes po.
Okay. Gising pa? Hello?
Opo, sir.
Yes po, sir.
Yes.
Po, sir.
Sure kayo ha? Nagising po, sir. Okay, so what will be our multiplier? I think we have discussed that last time when we discussed the limit. It's just the same thing as the limit of cube root of x. Okay? Cube root, yung like this limit of 1 minus cube root of x all over 1 minus x as x approaches 1. We will apply the same technique here. What will be our multiplier? Anyone? You recall? X cubed minus y cubed equals x minus y, x squared plus xy plus y squared. Okay, yan yung key. So you now have x is represented by this. Y is represented by this. So when you think of this form, and then yung i-multiply nyo dito, so that it will become cube root of x plus delta x plus 1 cube, and then cancel. Minus cube root of x plus 1 cube. You get it? No. Yes, no.
Yes po.
Okay, so what will be the multiplier? Can I ask someone?
Sir, try ko po.
Go.
Cube root of x plus delta x plus 1 squared po.
Okay, go on.
Yan po. Minus, same lang din po. Minus cube root of x.
Oops.
Ah,
This is minus. All is plus. Right, you're doing it right.
plus, pag multiply po yung x at
Okay.
y.
Cube root of x plus 1. Then the last term.
The cube root of x plus 1 squared po.
Okay, good. Square. And then we'll just copy that part. Then copy paste na lang ako ha. Ang haba kasi. And then we'll just write it on the denominator. Alright. And then we'll just copy it here. And copy it here. And you're done. Close. Oops. Close. All right. Okay. So when you multiply this two, ito, and this numerator, it will only lead you to x plus delta x plus 1 minus x plus 1. And eventually, when this is simplified, na andito na tayo. All right. Okay. And then, the only thing left to do is limit as delta x approaches 0. Nawala na yung delta x dun ha. And then we'll just place this on the denominator. Then what would be the numerator? The numerator will now become, so nawala na yon, 1. Okay? Then copy ulit natin so that we are now ready to replace, kasya ba dito? I think kasya siya dito. We're now ready to replace delta x by 0. So you just take a look. I'll use another color. F prime of x equals 1 all over. Remember, this will become 0. This will become 0. All right? So what is left? Cube root of x plus 1 square. Then plus, itong dalawang to, when multiplied, is another cube root of x plus 1 square. And then plus, the last term, you just copy it, cube root of x plus 1 square. And you will observe that these three terms are alike, so you can just combine, and that leads you to 1 over 3 cube root of x plus 1 square. And you're done. That's 1 over 3 cube root of x plus 1 square. And that's the derivative of f prime of x. Okay. Tatandaan yung mga special product ha, yung x plus or minus y squared and x plus or minus y cube. Okay? And yung, ano pa ba? Yeah, yung dalawa pag yan. And din yung mga x to the 4 minus y to the 4 and basta any special product and factoring technique. Then, punta tayo sa differentiation formulas. About the basic formulas of differentiation. Okay, you just let u and v be function in terms of x in x. Then you know that the derivative of constant is equal to 0. Can I ask why? Why is it the derivative of constant is 0? I'm on frame number 12.
Kasi po no rule.
Kasi po,
Gawa po no rule na yun. The derivative of all constant is equal to 0.
nga, why is there is a rule that the derivative of constant is 0?
Tsaka po ang limit po ng any constant.
Is constant. Diba? The limit of a constant is constant, not 0.
Oo nga po, sir. Mali nga
Yeah.
po.
Why is that the derivative? Yeah, it's a rule that the derivative of constant is 0. But why there is a rule that derivative of a constant is 0?
Sir, hula.
Sige,
Ano
go.
po? Gawa po sa 0 po nagsimula lahat.
O, dahil sa 0 po nagsimula ang lahat and that cannot be generalized. Go. Anyone is, those who are raising
Sir.
his or her hand, go.
Sir, dahil po ang derivative po ay, ang pagkakalam ko po ay change. Eh, syempre po
Change?
pag constant po talaga. Constant po.
Okay.
Parang hindi po nagbabago.
Okay,
Dahil
that's
ang
one.
derivative na, kaya po 0 po ang derivative ng constant.
Okay,
Dahil,
that's
yun nga
one
po.
thing. Okay. That's one thing. Because when we talk about the derivative, that has something to do with change. And you still remember we started the definition by delta x. Okay? That dy dx, you remember that dy dx is change in y over change in x. If it is constant, say y equals 2. Ito yun. So what is delta y? What is delta y?
0 po.
0
0.
po.
What is delta x? Is there any change in x? Yes or no na lang? Will there be any change in x? Oh, yeah, you say that's 0.
No.
Yes or no? Think again. This is the x-axis.
Meron po yata dahil bawal po mag-0 ang delta x.
Hindi, it does not necessarily mean dahil bawal mag-0 ang delta x. You just look on the curve. Kasi pwede
Di ba,
naman
sir, ang slope po ng horizontal line ay laging 0. Tapos
Ayun.
kapag po vertical, undefined.
Ayun. That's the best answer. Because the slope of the horizontal line is 0. That's why, di ba, when I presented this to you, sorry, sige, hindi na ako babalik sa frame na yon. Di ba, sinabi ko sa inyo, this is the horizontal tangent. Okay? But again, yung who said this one?
Ako po, sir.
Yung delta y, because because ang pagkakaalam ko po sa derivative ay change in y.
Ako po yata. Sir.
You're Mr.
Endaya po.
Mr.
Justin
Indaya. Okay. Yeah. According to Mr. Indaya, the derivative has something to do with the change in y and change in x, and that's correct. Okay. And because when the function is constant, we call it constant. No? So when the function is constant, it's a horizontal line, and there is a zero change in y, and there is a change in x, because this is 2 and this is 4. So there is a change in x. So 4 minus 2 is 2. So ito yung change. So may change dito, but since the change in y is 0, the result is always 0. And then the best answer, yung because the slope po ng horizontal line is 0. Diba? How do we define derivative? Sir, the derivative is the slope of the line tangent to that curve. That's why when we use this example, x squared minus 2, and I draw horizontal tangent on its vertex, okay, on its vertex, the vertex of this is 0, negative 2. Ang slope nito is written as negative 2x. Ang slope nito. So when x is 0, 2 times 0, 0 ang slope na rin. Okay? So because the slope of horizontal line is 0. Okay? So that is why the derivative of constant is equal to 0. Okay? For D2. derivative of sum, derivative of u plus v is equal to the derivative of u plus the derivative of v in terms of x always. Hindi ko na kayo bibigyan dito ng mga simpleng example ha. D3, derivative of power u to the n is n u to the n minus 1 du. Du dx. Then D4, derivative of product uv. U times the derivative of v plus v times the derivative of u. And then I will give you yung mga shortcut formulas. Then D5, derivative of quotient. Sorry. Come on. U over v is, on the denominator, you have v squared, and then v du plus v du minus u dv. V du minus u dv over v squared. Okay, sige nga. 1. Say y equals 3x squared minus 4x plus 1. Okay, y prime. So, baba nyo lang to. So, you multiply it to 3. So, you have 6x and then you subtract 1 here. Okay? And then minus 4. And then derivative of x is 1. So, that's 6x minus 4. 2. Y. Say cube root of x plus 1. This can be written exponentially as x plus 1 raised to 1/3. Y prime. Bring this down. Write it in front. That's 1/3. Cap it again. And then you subtract 1 from 1/3. And that is negative 2/3. And then do not forget to differentiate x plus 1. And that is 1. So you'll have 1 all over 3 times x plus 1 raised to 2/3. 3. Say y equals, hold on, 3 over x plus 1 to the 3rd power. So to simplify, to find the derivative, to use the power rule, you just write this in above. So that's x plus 1, but you have to make this power negative because you get the reciprocal. So you have y prime. Again, you bring this down, multiply it in front. Okay, so that's negative 9. Then times x plus 1. Then you subtract 1. Okay, so that will become negative 4. And then you differentiate x plus 1. And that is 1. So y prime is negative 9 all over x plus 1 raised to positive 4. Okay. You remember this, and then I will move to the next frame. 13. What number are we? Sorry. Number 4. I will teach you the shortcut. 4. Say y equals 1 all over x cubed. Okay. So instead of, di ba yung kanina natin itinataas ko, and then I will use the derivative, I will use the derivative of power. So you have y prime. You bring this down. Oops, I was thrown outside the left. Okay, you bring this down. So that's negative 3x. Negative 3 minus 1, it's negative 4. Okay, so that's negative 3 over x to the 4th power. Okay, then ganito yung shortcut niyan. Y prime, you draw the vinculum. Okay, you multiply 3 to 1. So you write 3 here. And then x, instead of subtracting 1, since you are on the denominator, you add 1. So 3 plus 1, it will become 4, and then you oppose the sign. Okay? You watch my video on my YouTube channel. I presented there a lot of formulas, yung mga shortcut formulas. And one of those is this. Sorry. So nasa form siya ng y equals constant c over x raised to n. And it's written of the form negative c n all over x raised to n plus 1. So yan yung form niyan. So that's negative cn all over x raised to n plus 1. So you have y equals 3 over x minus 4 to the 5th power. What is y prime? Five times 3, negative 15 over, you copy, x minus 4, then you add 1 to the 6. So, sir, bakit po negative 15? Kasi pinapalitan natin yung ng sign. 6, y equals 4 all over, kapag mabilis, you call my attention, 3 minus x to the 4th to the 5th power, y prime. Okay?
28 negative over 3 minus x to the 6th power.
Times negative 1. So, saan galing yung negative 1 na yun? Because of the derivative of this. Okay? So, generalize natin yung form. So, you have y, ito kasi is c over x raised to n lang. Okay? Paano po pagka linear na siya? Pagka linear na siya, say y equals c, constant, over ax plus b raised to n, and then y prime is equal to cn negative times a, cna all over ax plus b raised to n plus 1. Because nawala dito yung a kasi x lang to. Ito ay 1. Okay? Sige, verify natin. Ito. So, di ba yung gagawin natin is itataas natin. So, y is 4 times 3 minus x to the 5th power negative. Y prime. Negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. 3 minus x, you subtract 1, negative 6, but do not forget to differentiate this. Okay? So, that will become negative 1. Kaya mayroon ditong negative 1. So, babalik siya sa positive. Iwan ko lang yung negative 1 na yan. Okay? Then ituro ko kung saan siya galing. Yun. Okay? Hello? You're still there? One more. 7. Y equals 3 all over, say, 5 minus 3x raised to 2/3. What is y prime? Ay, ito pala yung hindi ko naturo. Go on. Question? You?
Sir, yan po yung chain rule.
Yeah, chain rule. No, it's not chain rule. It's still on the formula. You look at the formula. Di ba kada dulo merong du dx? Nasaan pa yan? Yeah. Ibig sabihin nitong du dx, we do not forget to differentiate this. Kasi ito ay generalized na U form. What if it's written of the where your U, I'm on frame number 12, boys, girls. You're with me?
Yes po.
You go to frame number 12. I am on D3 kasi one of your classmates asked, Mr. Estigoy?
Indaya Justin po.
Nga pala, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Mr. Indaya. Anong hula lang ako na. Basta alam ko letter E yung simula ng apelido mo.
Sige po.
Yeah. Saan ko ba na-encounter si Mr. Estigoy? Sa kabila yata. Anyway, may Mr. Estigoy ba dito? Wala naman.
Wala po.
Kasi itong yun na to is a generalized form. So what it is 2x plus 1. So that's why you do not forget to differentiate it. And it's not the chain rule yet. Hindi pa siya chain rule. Okay? And I'll give you later yung chain rule na yan.
Sige po. Thank you po.
Ay, nag-a-apply pa lang tayo ng formula. Right? Where is it? So you have, what do you think happens here? So naka-default na yung minus from the formula. Itong formula na to. So may minus na agad doon. So your C is 3, N is 2/3, and then A is -3. All over 5 minus 3x, 2/3 plus 1 is 5/3. And then you have, 6. All over 5 minus 3x raised to 5/3. I mean, okay lang po ba na sir na hindi gamitin to? Walang problema. I'm just sharing you some of my these are product of my experience teaching differential calculus. You cannot find this in any book. Okay, so these are mga shortcut formula na na-discover ko when solving problems in differential. And I have also a lot of shortcut formulas in integral calculus. You can see it on my videos. Okay? Clear tayo doon? Sir, paano po pagka may ano na to, may power? Say, y equals c all over ax squared plus b raised to n. So what would that be? Y prime. So you need to differentiate this. So you have negative cn ax raised to, no, I will make it variable to. I'll make it m. Ax raised to m minus 1 all over ax raised to m plus b raised to n plus 1. Yan yung form niyan. Okay? Sir, paano pagka hindi na ganito? Allow me to modify it again. You go to frame number 14. Hold on. What number are we? 7, 8, 8. Paano po pagka ganito na? Y equals, say, 2 all over 3x squared minus 2x plus 1. Ito na, dito nagagamit tayo ng chain rule. 4. But we will simplify the process. Okay? So what you're going to do is y prime equals, you just copy this one, 3x squared minus 2x plus 1. Then you add 1 here, 5. And then you multiply, you affix the minus sign first. 2 times 4 is 8. And then you differentiate what is here. 6x minus 2. Okay? Hello? You're still with me? I'm not violating any theorems on differential calculus. It's just we are, we're shortening the process. So, paano po pagka siya yung usual method? Eh, di itataas mo to. So, y is 2 times 3x squared minus 2x plus 1 raised to negative 4. And then, you multiply this in front. That will give you negative 8 times copy minus 2x plus 1. Then you subtract 1, negative 5, and then differentiate this. Ito kasi yung ating u. Kaya dun sa formula, du sa dulo. Meaning, that tells you to differentiate whatever is written inside the parenthesis. Am I clear?
Yes
Opo.
po.
Okay? So yun, pag ito sinimplify nyo, ito na agad siya. Dun sa ating shortcut formula. Na this will help you a lot kapag nag-board exam kayo. Isulat nyo lang ng isulat sa notebook yung mga shortcut formulas kasi that will help you a lot pag nag-board exam kayo. Kasi sa board exam naman, you don't need the long solution. Kaya lang dito, syempre, I need to see that. So that's negative 8 times 6x minus 2x all over 3x squared minus 2x plus 1 raised to the 5th power. And then you can just introduce this each term inside. Pwede mong mag-factor ka ng palabas naman. Okay? Okay tayo? 9. Hey, ano to? Say, I'll do it in product. Okay na tayo dito sa power. You want more? Sa power, shall I move forward?
Isa pa po, sir.
Isa pa. Say, y. 3. Lagi na lang 3 po. Pwede naman pong fraction. 3 over 2 cube root of, say, x squared minus 1. So, paano po yun? Isulat muna natin ng fractional form. 3 over 2 x squared minus 1 raised to 1/3. Okay? And then you do the same. Y prime equals, so copy yung 2, huwag niyong papakialaman kasi constant naman siya. Cube root to ha. Then x squared minus 1, 1/3 plus 1. 4/3. Then you multiply. 1/3 times, you affix the minus sign bago natin makalimutan. So 1/3 times 3, it's 1. Okay? Then times derivative nito, 2x. And you're done. Lagi nalabas na to. How do you, wala na. Alright? You still with me? So 2x. Hello? Hello? You're still there?
Sir.
Sir, pwede po pong i-cancel yung 2.
We're not yet done here. So, pwede pa natin makancel yung 2. So, you shall have negative. We're just applying the formula that we generated. So, we shall have negative x all over x squared minus 1 raised to 4/3. So, and ito yung application ng ating formula, and then this is the simplified version. I mean the lowest term. Okay tayo? Let's move on to the product. Y equals, I will do it first at ax plus b. O sige, gawin ko muna siyang 2x minus 4 times 3x plus 5. So usually, you can multiply. Na, pwede nyo siyang i-multiply. And then you use derivative of y prime. Kasi, I mean, binomial lang naman, sir. 2x times 3x is 6x squared. 2x times 5 is 10x. Am I right? And then negative 4 times 3x is negative 12x plus 10x, negative 2x. And negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. Then y prime, mali po yun, sir. Hindi po yan y prime, sir. Y pa lang. Kasi we're just simplifying. So, ito na, magdi-differentiate na tayo. So, that's 12x minus 2. That's your y prime. If we will apply the product rule, so this is your u, and v is 3x plus 5. And then y prime is u dv, derivative of this, plus v du. Du is 2. All right, so that will become 3 times 2x, 6x minus 12. Then plus 3 times 2x is 6x plus 10. And then eventually, you will still you will still obtain 12x minus 2. Okay, and this is your y prime. Okay, let's generate a formula for that. I'm on frame number 15. Okay. I-collect nyo lang yung mga formulas na na-generate natin ha, kasi that will help you a lot. And you can use that in our examination. So y prime, I will first use the derivative of product to generate the formula. So you have ax plus b times derivative of this, c, plus v, cx plus d times derivative of u, that's a. And then we simplify. AXC, ACX plus BC plus CXA, ACX plus AD, D times A. And then Y prime equals ACX, ACX, 2ACX plus BC plus AD. So, hindi na kayo magdi-differentiate dito actually. Mag-substitute lang kayo. Y number 9? I do not know the number. Y equals 3x plus 4 and then say 2x minus 5 yung kanina. Okay? A is equal to 3, B is equal to 4, following this format. C is equal to 2 and D is equal to negative 5. Then Y prime equals 2ACX, 2AC, and that is 12. Right? You're still with me?
Opo.
2ACX plus BC plus AD. And then you now have ano to, 12x plus 8, then minus 15. 8 minus 15. 7. Tama? So that is your y prime. Okay tayo? Walang problema ha. Sir, pwede bang hindi namin gamitin yan? Okay lang, walang problema. I'm just sharing to you what I have learned from number 10. So y is 2 minus 3x. Then say, oops, ba't naaalis ako dun? And say 4x plus 5. So A, in this case, A is negative 3, B is 2, C is 4, and D is 5. Then Y prime, 2A, 2AC, X. So that's negative 24. Okay. 2ACX plus BC plus AD. And then you now have negative 24x plus 8 minus 15. So negative 7 ulit. 11. Ano sir, pagka ganito naman siya, y equals, magkasya kaya dito? Sige, try ko lang. ax plus b, ito yung chain rule, raised to m, cx plus d raised to m. Hindi siya kasya dyan. Hanggang 20 frames lang kasi to. Generate muna natin. So I have y prime. And sige, before that. Okay muna tayo ng 11. Say y equals 3x plus 1 to the 5th power times 2x minus 4 to the 3rd power. So this is our u. And this is our v. Oops. Derivative of product. Y prime u dv u. Sige, isa-isahin natin para mas Okay. U equals 3x plus 1 to the 5th power. What is our du? Baba, copy, subtract 1. And then you differentiate what is written inside. So du is 15, 3x plus 1 to the 4th power. You're still with me? V is 2x minus 4 raised to the 3rd power. dv, baba si 3, copy 2x minus 4, then you subtract 1, differentiate 2x minus 4, and that is 2. So you'll have 6, 2x minus 4 squared. Okay, And then, sakit niyo yung kamay ko. You have y prime equals u times u dv, then plus b, I hope you're still with me, ha, times du. du is 3x plus 1 to the 4th power. And then yun na, we can now simplify. So by common monomial factors, 6, 15, common is 3. Then 3x plus 1. This is 5. This is 4. So the lower. 2x minus 4. This is 2. This is 3. So 2. Then what is left here? 3 has been thrown outside. So you only have 2. And then this has been thrown outside. So 3x plus 1 to the 5th power. Naglabas tayo ng 4. So may matitirang isa. Okay? Then plus 15. 3 has been thrown outside. 5. Then what else? This has been thrown out. No. Hindi po yan. Ito pa lang tinapon natin. 3x plus 1 to the 4. And then 1 of the 2x minus 4 has been thrown outside. So may matitirang isa. 2x minus 4, close. And then you simplify. 3 times 3x plus 1 to the 4 times 2x minus 4 square times. Then you just introduce this each term inside. You do the same here. And then you add. Okay. So that will lead you to 6, 10, 16x, 2 minus 20 minus 18. And then, pwede pa kayo mag-factor dito ng 2 para maging 8 and 9. So, that will become 6. 3x plus 1 to the 4. Maglalabas ako dito ng 2 ha, kaya naging 6 yung nasa unahan. Square, then this will become 8x minus 9. Okay? That's what you call the chain rule. Kasi, I mean, dugtong-dugtong na yung yung pag-differentiate natin. You're still with me? You still enjoy it? I-shorten natin yung process. So by using this form, y equals ax plus b raised to m times cx plus d raised to n. Applicable lang sila sa form na nakikita nyo ha. So kapag ito ay may square, hindi na siya applicable para doon. Basta siya ay linear lang. So ax plus b raised to m, cx plus d raised to n. Then y prime, by applying the derivative of product and the chain rule, you have copy ax plus b raised to m, and then differentiate cx plus d raised to n. By power formula, baba si n, copy cx plus d, you subtract 1 from n. And then you differentiate cx plus d, and that is c. Then plus, you copy cx plus d. Nasaan ako? Yeah. You copy cx plus d raised to n times derivative of ax plus b raised to m. Then baba si m. Then copy ax plus b. Then you subtract 1 from m. And then you differentiate ax plus b, which is a. And then, factoring na tayo. Common monomial factor, ax plus b raised to, this is m minus 1. Which one is lower? That's m minus 1. Times cx plus d raised to n minus 1, and this is n minus 1. Then times cn times, this has been thrown outside. So, ax plus b raised to m. Ax plus b raised to m minus 1. So, may matitirang isang ax plus b. Then, plus ma, am. Ba't ba ganun ang m? Hindi ko makontrol yung kamay ko sa m. Then, times. Then, this has been thrown outside. So, may maiiwan na isang cx plus d. Then, ito yung isi-simplify natin. you have ax plus b raised to m minus 1, cx plus d raised to n minus 1, then times cn ax, acn, acnx plus bcn plus am, acm. ACMX, okay? ACMX plus ADM. Okay, close. And then finally, you now have AX plus B raised to M minus N, CX plus D raised to N minus N times, then we just factor out, ACX. ACX times N plus M. Ano po iyon? ACX, then N plus M. Then you just copy BCN plus ADM. Okay, and this is the formula that we're going to use. Then I'll go back to number 16. Kopyahin ko yung ating problem. Then we will compare it to get the same answer by using the shortcut formula. So here, you can see that A is equal to 3, B is 1, C is 2, D is negative 4, M is equal to 5, and N is equal to 3. Then Y prime, 3x plus 1, subtract 1 from 5. That will become 4. 2x minus 4, subtract 1 from 3. So 2. Then times ACX, AC. Okay, so that is 6x times N plus M. Okay. So 5 plus 3. Then plus BCN. BCN plus AD. Oops, ang layo. ADM. 5. Close. All right. Y prime. 3x plus 1 to the 4th power. 2x minus 4 to the 2nd power. So this will become 6x 5, 3, 8, 48x. And then this is 6. Am I right? This is how many? Negative 60. Yeah, negative 60. 6 minus 60 is negative 54. Okay. And then 48 and 54 common. 48 and 54. Ano ba yung na kanina? It's 8, 6. It's 6. Tama? 6. 6. Then 3x plus 1 to the 4th power times 2x minus 4 to the 2nd power. 48 divided by 6. 8x. 54 divided by 6. 9. And I think we got the same answer. You got to frame number 16. Naandun yung answer natin kanina. Yeah? Tama ba? You got to frame number 16. Whichever is comfortable on your part. Kung anong comfortable sa inyong method. If you want to use the same method, walang problema. Right. So, but you have to be very careful in assigning the values of A, B, C, D, M, and N. Always remember that A go along with the X and C go along with X also. Okay, so kahit pa siya ay mabaliktad, kahit pa siya ay, I'm on frame number 18. So Y equals, say, 1/2 minus 3x square times 4 plus, say, 5 halves. 5 halves x, sorry. Then to the 3rd power. I'm on frame number 18. So here, A is equal to negative 3, B is 1/2, C is 5/2, D is 4. Huwag niyong pagpapalit-palitin yan. Okay, and then you can apply the formula. You now have y prime 1/2 minus 3x, then subtract 1, 4 plus 5/2, then subtract 1, then times nakalimutan ko, ACX M plus N plus BCN plus ABM. Yan. ACX, A, C, X, M. Where's M? M is 2, N is 3. 2 plus 3. Then plus BCN. 1/2, 5/2, N. 3. Plus A, negative 3, D is 4 times M, 2. Close. You still like it? Nagugustuhan niyo pa ba? Or and then y prime 1/2 minus 3x plus 4 5/2 square. Then we simplify. This is negative 3, 5/2, 5. 5, 25, negative 1, 2, 5. 75 lang pala. Am I right? No, di ba? 5 times 5, 25 times 3, 75 over 2. And then here, so you have 5/4, 15 over 4. So that's 15 over 4. Ito, minus 12, 24. All right. Then 4 times 24 is 108 minus 15 is 80, hindi, 3, 93 pala. Sorry. Tama ba? Yeah, 93. Negative. Hindi. Ang bobo ko, sorry. I'm sorry. 4 times 4, 16. 1. 96 lang pala. Minus 15. 4 times 24 is 96. Minus 15 is 81 over 4. Minus 81 over 4. Right. Ganyan. You still there? Hello?
Yes po, sir.
Okay, thank you. Kaya pa? Konti na lang. Quotient na lang. 13, 14. Yung quotient rule naman, if you're given y equals ax plus d all over c, mali. Ax plus b all over cx plus d. Okay, you just convert this into an augmented matrix. Sir, what is that augmented matrix? You just get the coefficient a, b, c, d, and then you do the as if you are computing for the determinant of a matrix. Pag ganito, plus, and then pag pataas, minus. So therefore, this can be simplified as y prime cx plus d. Obviously, the denominator should be the square of the denominator. Cx plus d square. And then on the numerator, that's ad minus bc. Okay? Gawin natin. Long method muna. Y. Say, 3x plus 2 all over 5x minus 3. So we have y prime. Before we use the formula. 5x minus 3 square. And then you copy 5x minus 3 times the derivative of the numerator minus the numerator times the derivative of the denominator, which is 5. And then y prime, copy the denominator, square, and then you just multiply 3 times 5x. 3 times negative 3. Then minus 3x times 5. Then 2 times 5, it's 10. So minus 10. So that's negative 19 all over 5x minus 3 square. Am I right? Yeah. Then, tandaan nyo yung answer natin. We will redo this again by applying the formula. Okay? You join mo on frame number 19. So by using the formula, okay, y prime equals, you just write 5x minus 3 square, okay, and then you just write 3, 2, 5, negative 3. Then 3 times negative 3 minus 5 times 2. Right? So that's it. That is negative 9 minus 10. It's negative 19 over 5x minus 3 square. Okay? 15. Y, say 2 minus 5x all over 3x plus 4. Okay? Y prime. So 3x plus 4 square. When you use the shortcut method, that should be arranged as A, B, C, D. A and C, sila yung may coefficient na x. Okay, so ang augmented matrix natin would be negative 5, then 2, 3, then 4. So then, go on, cross multiply. So negative what? Negative 26.
26 po.
All right. We have negative 5 times 4 minus 3 times 2. So that's negative 26 all over 3x plus 4 square. Right? Whew. Okay? So I think hanggang dyan na lang muna tayo. And then, or you want some more? Kaya pa? Try natin to. So how do you apply that technique? I took this from your module. Wanna try? 16. You have y prime equals, baba muna to, power, chain rule, 3, 5 over x minus 1, then square, then ito na, pwede nyo nang i-apply yung technique natin. When you differentiate this 5 over x minus 1. Okay? So you have x minus 1 square, and then this is 1, power here is 1. 1 times 5, it's 5. Nasaan ba ako? Sorry. It's 5, and then you oppose the sign, negative. So that's negative 15, right? Then ito pa, 5 squared, it's 25. So y prime is, pwede nga palang ganito eh, di ba? Simplify natin, mas simple na to. Ba't ko ba binura? Hindi naman silang dalawa dyan. Okay, so final answer here is, this is 25 times 5. 25 times 5. 125 times 3. 375. Negative 375 all over x plus 1. Okay, then tingnan natin. Ito, you can simplify it of this form. What is 5 cubed? It's 125 all over x minus 1 to the third power. And then we apply our shortcut technique. This one is to the 4. Ah, yeah, to the 4. Because this is 2 and this is 2. Kaya magiging to the 4 na siya. And then, so you just copy x minus 1, 3 plus 1, it's 4. And then 3 times 1, 2, 5. Obviously, we have to affix the minus sign. 3 times 1, 2, 5 is 375. And you're done. Okay? So let me just tell you, you can, it would be better if you will simplify first before you differentiate. O sige, let me give you one.
Sir,
One.
saan po galing yung negative 375?
From the formula natin, sorry. Di ba yung formula natin is this na, hold on. Oops. Control Y. Ito yung formula natin. If you're given this form, y equals c over ax plus b raised to n. That is negative c and a all over ax plus b raised to n plus 1. Yan yung derivative niya. Ito yung y prime. Okay? So, obviously, lagi kayo nag-uupos ng sign. Pag po ang polynomial function or yung x nyo, yung yun nyo ay nasa ilalim. Okay? Yung nasa ilalim. So, naglalagay agad kayo ng minus sign in front. Sige, we do it in usual process. Okay? So, hold on. Ito yung usual process. Y prime. Sulat mo muna ito ng 1 to 5, x minus 1 to the negative 3. Okay? And then this is the usual process. So, 1 to 5 times negative 3, x minus 1, negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4. And then times derivative of x minus 1 is 1. So, that's negative 375. Tama ba ako? Di ba 1 to 5 times 3 is 375? Nga.
Apo.
Yes po, sir.
Thank you. X minus 1 to the 4. Okay? Pero by applying the technique na or the shortcut formula that we have, allow me to copy this. Na? So ito siya. Okay, nandito pa siya. Last page. So sinulat natin to as 1 to 5 all over x minus 1 to the third power. And then by applying the technique, you copy the denominator, you add 1 on its power, then you affix the minus sign, and then you multiply 3, 1 to 5 muna. 1 to 5 times 3 times the coefficient of x here, which is 1. O kaya siya ay naging negative 375 all over x minus 1 to the 4. Okay? Clear?
Apo. Okay na po. Thank you po.
One more. 17. Ito yung, let me see. How will you treat this one? Find the derivative of y if y equals the square root of x plus 1 cubed times 3x plus 3 to the third power. So, anong uunahin natin? So, is y prime equals, you can write this of the form, x plus 1 raised to 3 halves times 3x plus 3 raised to 3 halves. Yan. And then you can use the formula or you can simplify. Hindi pala to y pa ha. Sorry, hindi to y prime. Y pa lang yan. Hindi pa nagdi-differentiate. So, when you differentiate y prime, x plus 1. X plus 1 raised to 3 halves times 3 halves times 3x plus 3 raised to subtract 1 half times derivative of 3x plus 3 plus 3x plus 3 raised to 3 halves times derivative nito x plus 1 raised to 3 halves. So 3 halves x plus 1 raised to 1/2 times derivative of x plus 1, which is 1. Okay? And then you just simplify this, Okay? Simplify niyo yan. And then I will teach you the shortcut by just simply manipulating the given. So what you're going to do, oops, ba't ba natatapon ako sa labas? Y, okay? So you just factor out, sige, from here. X plus 1 raised to 3 halves, then 3x plus 3 raised to 3 halves. Y, I'm not yet differentiating. X plus 1 raised to 3 halves, and then you factor out 3 here. 3x plus 1, then 3 halves. Then ito, you need to raise it to 3 halves. And then you can see, x plus 1, 3 halves, y, 3 raised to 3 halves. Then x plus 1, 3 halves plus 3 halves. What is 3 halves plus 3 halves? 6 halves, 6 over 2, and that is 3. And then you can now differentiate. Y prime, 3 times 3 raised to 3 halves times x plus 1 square times derivative of x plus 1. And you're done. Y prime. So, ilang 3 ang malalabas natin? This is 3 halves. This is 1. So, 3 raised to 5 halves x plus 1 square. Okay? Or, what would be the final answer? Ito na lang sisimplify nyo. So, ilang 3 ang malalabas natin? 2. Square root of 3. Then, x plus 1 square. Ito, kapag sinimplify nyo, ito din ang lalabas. So, kayo ang bahalang mamili kung anong technique ang inyong gamitin. Ulit bakit ito naging 9? Because when you simplify 3 raised to 5 halves, you know that this is larger than this. So 5 is larger than 2. Meaning, makakapaglabas kayo ng isang 3 at may isang 3 na maiiwan sa loob. Okay? So ano yung mga powers niya? So 5 divided by 2 is how much? So that's 2. Remainder, 1. Kaya siya ay 3 square is 9 square root of 3. Alright? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so hanggang dyan na lang muna tayo. And then you can hit this, hold on. I-close ko lang yung sharing para hindi nyo ma-delete. Baka accidentally ma-delete nyo. I'm the owner of this form. And then hold on. I will just hit. Hold on, wait lang. Ang pangit ko pala, sorry.